Good afternoon, friends. Sir, what time do I have? Let us be frank enough.
Usually 30 minutes, what I was thinking. So we can, it's not, but 30 to 35 minutes, so that another 10 minutes.
I'll definitely finish.
Because
off within that time.
quarter to 2, I want to end the session so that you can all join for lunch, basically. Am I right?
नमस्कार. आज का टॉपिक, what I'm going to talk on is quality standards for आत्मनिर्भर भारत. अभी जो पूरा मॉर्निंग सेशन से अभी तक जो भी हुआ, उसमें what we have taken is, more of comparison of the idealistic approach and not the realistic approach. आज जो मैं बात करूंगा, कुछ हटके बात करूंगा कि what is the dream of Prime Minister. Atmanirbhar Bharat is a word coined by Prime Minister Modi, and his dream of 5 trillion economy, $5 trillion economy by 2024-25. How standards, quality standards, can help in fulfilling it. जो आज का टॉपिक है, ये सेशन का टॉपिक है कि हिडन फार्मा इंडस्ट्री, हिडन पोटेंशियल पावर. तो मैं एक महाभारत के एक इंसिडेंट से चालू करूंगा. जब यक्षराज ने महाराजा युधिष्ठिर को पूछा कि मनुष्य जीवन का सबसे बड़ा इग्नोरेंस क्या है, यक्षराज बोले आपने पूरे विश्व के बहुत सारा घुमा है, बहुत सारे लोगों से मिला है, इतनी सारी लड़ाइयाँ की है, तो सबसे बड़ा इग्नोरेंस आपको क्या लगा. तो महाराजा युधिष्ठिर ने बताया कि मनुष्य को पता है कि मौत तो निश्चित है, पर ये दिल मांगे मोर. So the biggest and the greatest hidden potential power is the desire of human being to be immortal. जब तक ये डिजायर रहेगी और जब तक पृथ्वी और मनुष्य का अस्तित्व रहेगा, तब तक ये डिजायर रहेगी, और ये डिजायर जब तक रहेगी तब तक फार्मा इंडस्ट्री आगे ही बढ़ेगी, कभी पीछे आने का पॉसिबिलिटीज नहीं है. आज जो क्वालिटी के ऊपर बात करूंगा, I'll be talking, I would like you to recollect the 15th August speech of our beloved Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi. उन्होंने पंच प्रण की बात किया था. मैं पंच प्रण में मैं प्रण नंबर 2 में जाऊंगा खाली. प्रण नंबर 2, 100% freedom from slavery. I hope you all recollect. Slavery is not, what he meant was not slavery, a physical slavery. A slavery from our thought process, slavery from our copycat approach, what Rashmi ma'am referred. And my definition of quality, what are the attributes of quality, would be mainly based on the real life experiences. The definition of quality, Quality, Q stands for quantum, quantum of utility. Why I say quality is quantum of utility? वडनगर के स्टेशन पे चाय बेचने वाला जो चाय बेचता था, वो चाय की भी क्वालिटी, उसकी यूटिलिटी जब होती थी तो वो शायद पंचतारक होटल में मिलती चाय से भी ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट होती थी. So how and when what you get has more importance than an absolute quality. A stands for awareness. There has to be an awareness to keep on learning. I stands for investigate and improve the deficiencies of the product by innovative methods. Innovative does not mean advanced methods. Innovative can be a physical procedure also. You need not go for advanced instrumentation or instrumental facilities. Then only it can be said innovative. Innovative itself is a very broad term. T stands for, when you want a quality, you want a trained manpower, a truthful representation, and transparency of interactions. And Y stands for, as every human being, we have got a yearning to satisfy the human urge to procure and produce the products of the highest precision and quality. ये क्वालिटी की डेफिनेशन शायद आपको कोई भी गूगल बाबा में नहीं मिलेगी. गूगल बाबा रिफर करोगे तो भी नहीं मिलेगी. दिस इज अ डेफिनेशन डिराइव्ड ओवर an experience of more than almost 4 decades. My topic of interactions today would be on dawa, hawa, dana, pani, or saundarya prasadan, that is cosmetics. These are the 5 very important constituents which a human being uses. I will not be blurting out any statistics. I will not be carrying out any comparison of, multinationals versus Indians. With due respect to the regulators, my usage of word of regulators would not mean only regulators of pharma. That broadly means regulators, whether they are regulators of pollution control, whether they are regulators of income tax, whether they are regulators of GST. You can see the question over here. Are these stringent quality standards supportive or suppressant? आप समझ सकते हो ना क्वेश्चन. कुछ लोग अपना ओपिनियन शेयर कर सकते हैं. What do you have to say? Stringent quality standards से आत्मनिर्भर भारत 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी को सपोर्ट मिलेगा और सप्रेशन होगा. My personal opinion is, when we talk of 5 trillion economy, feeding 138 billion people, 1.38 billion people, we need standards that suit us, not what others want us to follow. Establishing the most stringent standards do not guarantee improved quality, but may become deterrent of growth. I'll come to each and every point, the attributes of quality standards. First, quality standards should be acceptable. The standards should be affordable. Standards should be applicable, but not necessarily adorable and absolute. Quality cannot be absolute. I'll come to each and every point. Acceptable quality standards. I'll take a case of Woodward's Gripe Water, a brand that is surviving for almost 150 years. This is called an acceptability. Why it has survived over 150 years? It is a simple dill oil, a formulation containing dill oil. The R&D part, the formulation development part, what this dill oil makes the difference is the dill oil that has been utilized in this Woodward's Gripe Water is containing carbon content of more than 80%, between 80 to 85%, whereas the pharmacopoeial requirements are the carbon content should be between 43 to 65%. They don't claim this as a pharmacopoeial product. This API not as a pharmacopoeial product. But this is being achieved by a spatial distillation process. And you'd be happy to note that our Gujarat supplies this quality of dill oil. The manufacturers of Gujarat are supplying this quality of dill oil, which is behind the success of Woodward's Gripe Water. Now, Woodward's Gripe Water is the acceptable part. Another product which I would like to share is what is not acceptable. Recently, one company introduced a unique brand, a very efficacious brand with proven clinical trials. That was methylcobalamin nasal spray. The clinical trials proved that the B12 level increases wonderfully. But it was not an acceptable product. Why it was not an acceptable product? Because methylcobalamin is a red colored powder. The nasal spray was red in physical appearance. When the spray was inserted into the nasal area, when sneezing or when it oozed out, red colored particles used to come out either from nose or from the throat. And everyone, there was a scare that the blood is coming out. There was a misunderstanding. So, this is a non-acceptability. Even today, this is an effective product, but so far as commercialization is concerned, you can say it is a failure. So for quality, the attributes, acceptability is a very important part. Affordability. मैंने दाना और पानी भी लिखा था, सो दाने की बात कर रहा हूं. The dana is Maggi, the most affordable brand, despite lots of hue and cry about the heavy metals and other issues. We don't want to go into that, whether that was right or wrong. Probably the people who have studied the whole issue would agree that there were certain confusions and there were certain hypes which created the whole issue. But a Maggi is an affordable brand. In 10 rupees, you are able to fill up your tummy. So any quality that should have an affordability. Applicability. My question is, the quality of standards applicable to the developed countries, should they be applicable to a developing country like us? Should we blindly follow their standards? Or should we have our own standards? If some company wants to export to any of the developed country, they may follow those standards. But our strength, which was considered as one of our greatest weakness, is our human population. And if you want to reach to a 5 trillion economy, as Prime Minister has rightly said, 100% freedom from slavery, have your own standards, understand your own requirements, and move ahead. I'll take, with the due permission of Ravi ji, ranitidine tablets and NDMA issue. Dr. Ravi has done lots of work on NDMA, and he has discussed over this issue several times. But from day one, when this issue was raised, ranitidine, one of the most successful and efficacious antacid product, very cost effective and affordable. So it is an applicable and affordable product also. The usage of ranitidine tablets in India is now minuscule of what it was used because of this NDMA issue. NDMA was detected in ranitidine hydrochloride, in ppb levels. So much of media hype was created. Every patient who used to take ranitidine hydrochloride went to doctor and asked him, "Sir, मेरे को भी कैंसर होगा क्या?" So doctor, वो भी बेचारा क्या करे, बोला भैया देखो, this is the position, ऐसे रिपोर्ट्स हैं, आपको क्या करना है आप डिसाइड करो. So जो 80 पैसे की प्रोडक्ट थी, उसकी जगह पे आज 6 रुपये की महंगी प्रोडक्ट लोगों को लेनी पड़ी. अब डिफरेंस डेवलप्ड एंड डेवलपिंग कंट्री का क्या है वो बताता हूं. एक डेवलप्ड कंट्री, इन अ डेवलप्ड कंट्री दे पॉप pills like anything. After every, pizza or whatever they eat, all, junk foods they eat, they used to take ranitidine. So their intake of ranitidine was much more higher than, people like, Indians. We must be taking hardly, I should say 25 ranitidine tablets of 150 milligram strength per year. So the standards have to be independent of any developed countries. For a developing countries or underdeveloped countries, the standard should be based on our own needs. There is a Sanskrit saying, everything should be Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhaya. I have to add, sir, it should be Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhaya, but not Sarvajan Hitaya, Sarvajan Sukhaya. जो एनडीएमए है वो बहुजन और सर्वजन के बीच में जो डिफरेंस है ना, उनको ही अफेक्ट करता था. जो बहुजन को तो वो अफेक्ट ही नहीं करता है, क्योंकि साल के हार्डली 10 गोली लेते हैं. बट वो एनडीएमए का ह्यू एंड क्राई हुआ एंड एवरीथिंग गॉट, द प्रोडक्ट, जेबी केमिकल्स, मिलिंद साहब हैं, ही नोज व्हाट इज द कमर्शियल लॉस ऑफ दैट प्रोडक्ट, and a fantastic product. What I had said was, they should not necessarily be adorable standards. In India, whether it is a pharmacopoeia or BIS, so many committees are being formed. There are representations of heads. माथे के representation होता है, बुद्धि का representation बहुत कम होता है. लोग पढ़ते नहीं है जब draft rules होते हैं. When the rules are drafted, nobody reads. But when the draft rule gets converted to the rule, we start hue and cry. A typical case of जो ड्रग एंड कॉस्मेटिक एक्ट नया बना, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव रेड बिटवीन द लाइन्स ऑफ दैट एक्ट एंड हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव रेज्ड योर कंसर्न्स, योर अपोजिशंस टू दैट? None. And I can say that brilliant and intelligent brains are sitting in this meeting. So whenever standards are there, we need to understand the standards. BIS standards for potable water, they were revised in 2012. The best standards of the world were taken, and almost the best, most stringent criteria were picked up and put into the standards. Even today, we are in Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation, Delhi Municipal Corporation, Mumbai Municipal Corporation cannot analyze these potable water samples every day, which is supplied in gallons. This is the mockery of the standards. Kindly excuse me if, I'm going little bolder on this issue, but a time has come when we need to, if we are talking of 5 trillion economy and Atmanirbhar Bharat, तो निर्भरता दुनिया के स्टैंडर्ड पे नहीं रखनी पड़ेगी, अपने को अपनी ज़रूरियात के मुताबिक स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाने पड़ेंगे. I'll give you a typical case of boric acid, because I am a member of BIS committees also. For some political or commercial reason, in packing, one sentence was added: it should be packed in jute bags. It should be packed in jute bags. Boric acid import भी होता था, इंडिया में भी बनता था. इंडिया में अब जूट का जो वेस्ट बंगाल और ईस्ट इंडिया जो मेन सेंटर था, इंडिया is also now not manufacturing jute bags. We also import from Bangladesh. But when this rule came, it came. Import stopped. The pricing increased more than 3 times. This indirectly affected the ceramic industry. There was a representation from ceramic industry of Morbi that our business is becoming non-competitive because of this boric acid. The issue came, they came to meet me because, I am in Gujarat and Morbi is closer. We discussed with the chairman of the committee also. It was accepted that there is no need to keep it in jute bags. Amendment was made. And friends, you'd be happy to know that within a span of almost 75 to 80 days, the prices crashed to almost 10% higher than what was in the past. So you can understand an importance of a single line of a standard, what difference it can make. Recently, there was an article published, BIS rules break alung's back, steel melts as scrap. Alang, as we all know in Gujarat, Alang ship breaking yard है. वर्ल्ड से यहाँ शिप ब्रेक होने आती थी. अभी धंधा बिल्कुल कम हो गया. रीजन क्या है आप लोग जानते हो? ये टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया का ये पब्लिश हुआ आर्टिकल है. ये रूल बीआईएस ने ऐसा रूल निकाला है कि मेटलर्जिकल हिस्ट्री टू बी प्रोवाइडेड ऑफ द स्टील दैट वाज यूज्ड. शिप में जो स्टील यूज हुआ था उसका मेटलर्जिकल हिस्ट्री आपको बताना पड़ेगा. अब ये कैसे पॉसिबल है? अब पैकेट ड्रिंकिंग वाटर अपने लेते हैं बॉटल में, तो बॉटल में वाटर की क्वालिटी देखी जाती है कि भैया वो क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स में पास होती है कि नहीं. पर वो वाटर कहाँ से आया था? गंगा नदी का है, यमुना नदी का है कि नर्मदा नदी का है, और उसके क्या क्वालिफिकेशंस थे, वो देखने की क्या जरूरत है. बट दिस इज अ ट्रूथ दैट दिस इज अ वेरी रिसेंट, यू कैन सी August 12, 2022. And for such things, regulations चेंज होने की जरूरत है, और वो चेंज करने के लिए हमें और आपको जगने की जरूरत है. I'll not go to this point. As I have clarified earlier, the regulations does not mean only pharma regulations over here, because I have taken a BIS and other things also, and I'll be talking on the pollution part also. Today, it is said, the industry feels to regulate means to strangulate. When you strangulate, you make someone submissive. When you want to reach to a 5 trillion economy and Atmanirbhar Bharat, regulations should be educative. It should cooperate, and it should make the manufacturer or the service providers decisive. Instead of regulate, strangulate, submissive, make it to educate, cooperate, and decisive. Recently, PLI scheme was launched. I'll not go much into details. PLI scheme is thrown open by the central government. But let us ask ourselves, should we expect everything from the government? Should we keep on expecting freebies from the government? Or we have our own responsibilities? What about, PLI scheme says that, any 5 players can start a new operations and carry out get the benefits. I have a different idea. In India, there are n number of SSI, MSME units. So can we not think of a cooperative linked incentive scheme? The Drug Act says that, I'm just talking of a Drug Act, but it applies to other companies also. Let's say 5 companies come together. 5 companies come together. They can have a common laboratory. They can have a common purchase. And they can have a common F&D. Fulfilling the ambit of all the rules and regulations. But a minor change that, if I am purchasing 100 kg of cross-carmelo sodium, if 5 companies come together, we'll be able to purchase 500 kg. That would be more cost competitive. And in any product formulation, more than the drug it is the excipient which plays a major part. And small companies today, because I'm associated with industry for years together, decades together, that they don't get their excipients analyzed because of the cost. The cost of 100 kg of an excipient would be around 2,500 rupees, and the analysis cost would come to 4,500 rupees. So in such cases, if 5 companies are allowed to get associated together, probably some kind of out-of-box thinking we need to do to help the present SSI and MSME industries also, and to fight the behemoth of China. Let us not forget, China is progressing very, very fast, even in formulations. The large orders of WHO are slowly going to China. The CLI cooperation scheme will reduce the human resources cost, the production cost, and the regulatory compliance cost. Recently, राकेश, अभी अपने कुछ बात करेंगे क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ और एक आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स क्वालिटी ऑफ डेथ. Recently, Rakesh Junjunwala ji expired, and in one of his interviews, he had publicly admitted that his worst investment had been in his health, and urged and prompted everyone to invest the most in this class of asset. फार्मा का प्रोग्रेस होए कि नहीं होए, इंडिविजुअल की हेल्थ का प्रोग्रेस होना चाहिए. Recently, Kapil Dev was here in Ahmedabad to promote Dawa India, and in his inaugural address, he said, I am a brand ambassador of Dawa India. पर मैं चाहता हूं कि आप लोगों में से किसी को भी दवा इंडिया में नहीं आना पड़े दवाई लेने के लिए. इतनी तबीयत का ख्याल रखो. क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट की भी होती है, क्वालिटी लाइफ की भी होती है. लाइफ एंड लीजर एंड लग्जरी आर नॉट द ओनली क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ, एंड मनी कैन ओनली बाय मेडिसिन्स, इट कैन नॉट बाय फिजिकल फिटनेस, हेल्थ एंड मेंटल फिटनेस. Quality of death. This is a little out of topic. वेदों में कहा गया है कि डेथ कैसी चाहिए. अनायासे न मरणम विना दीन्ये न जीवनम देहांते तव सानिध्यम देहि में परमेश्वरम. कि प्रभु अनायासे मरण देना, दीनता बिना का जीवन देना. जब देह का अंत होए तब आपका सानिध्य होए, प्रभु इतना मुझे देना. अपने सब में एक अर्ज होनी चाहिए, क्वालिटी के बारे में कभी भी संतोषी नहीं होने का. कहते हैं संतोष एवं पुरुषस्य परम निदानम, तो मैं कहता हूं असंतोष एवं गुणवत्ताया परम निदानम. जिस दिन गुणवत्ता से संतोष हो गया, अपना गिरने का चालू हो गया. So let us not be satisfied with quality. Let us keep on improving quality, and quality journey should be from realistic to idealistic, not the other way around. Or as an Indian, to reach to a 5 trillion economy, a dream of 5 trillion economy, एक छोटा सा हिंदी का आपको सुनाऊंगा. छोटा मोटा सबका प्रयास. वी ऑल हैव टू डू छोटा मोटा प्रयास करना पड़ेगा. छोटा मोटा सबका प्रयास लाएगा बड़े से बड़ा विकास. जब साथ होंगे हम और आप, जुटे रहेंगे दिन और रात, तभी तो जीत पाएंगे दुनिया भर का भरोसा और विश्वास. This is only what I want to share with you कि quality standards कोई भी चीज के हो, let it be realistic, whether it is cosmetics, pollution. आज बल ड्रग पार्क की रवि जी जो बात कर रहे थे, तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक पॉल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड शुड बिकम अ प्रोडक्शन कंट्रोल बोर्ड. इट शुड बिकम अ प्रोडक्शन कोऑपरेशन बोर्ड. सो कंट्रोल की जगह जब कोऑपरेशन आएगा और सब लोग अपना अपना एफर्ट्स देंगे, ओनली देन ये ड्रीम अपने अचीव कर पाएंगे. थैंक यू. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Dr. Oza, Gaurang Oza Sahab. Now this topic is open for discussion from your audience. Before I know that we are already getting delay for lunch, but please take this opportunity to have some your queries or some suggestions or anything what you like in English, Hindi or Gujarati to our speakers. Today's eminent speaker, Dr. Ravi Shah, as well as Gaurang Oza sir.
So,
Please.
first of all, thanks to Gaurang Bhai to discuss this quality standard. Actually, yes, he is right, because quality cannot measure. Quality can be come from quality of design. Okay. हम लोग फार्मा कंपनी में रहते हैं और कोशिश करते हैं डिफरेंट टाइप के इंस्ट्रूमेंट लेके कि इसको ऐसे मेजर किया जाए, इसको ऐसे मेजर किया जाए. लेकिन हम क्या करते हैं, वी आर डूइंग ओनली कंपेयर. सो एग्जैक्टली यस, बिल्कुल करेक्ट. नाउ वी आर फेसिंग द मीन्स क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड. Our when we are working with domestic and export, so we are having one of the challenge, what quality standard we have to maintain. For example, we have a paracetamol standard. Should I go for IP? Should I go for BP? Should I go for USP? If you see that molecule is one, purity is one. So I would like to suggest to our FDA, we have to recognize only one quality standard. It may be for export, it may be for domestic, because certain time we have received one of this information from FDA. All impurity, all standard is effective from February 2022. It must be from IP. Yes, as a Atmanirbhar of Bharat, they have provided too much development on this quality standard. Yes, it's very thankful for us. And now we have 700 standard available in this catalogs. But even though we are facing some issue on that, some impurity is available. Sometimes 2 impurities is not available. So what should I do for that? Because in case of in-house impurity development, this is also same as a purity. So I would like to suggest for that the standard should be one, maybe IP, maybe BP, or maybe authentic something. So again, this is my question from Gaurang Bhai.
Thank you, Manoj ji. You have raised a question which I would like to answer it not yes or no. I would like to give you little explanation. Today, the quality standards, if you look at Europe, US, or other developed countries, there are lots of systems implementation. And when they talk of systems implementation, even, the lacuna which they find are mainly from the systems. अब वो system, if we start following those systems, a paracetamol tablet available in US market at $1, तो आज ये एक भारत का एक बंदा वो $1 के इक्विवेलेंट रुपीस खर्च पाएगा, जबकि उसका पूरा दिन का रोटी और सब्जी का खर्चा इतने में निकल जाता है। इंडिया की क्वालिटी पुअर है ऐसा मत मानिए। इंडिया की क्वालिटी आईपी की कितनी सारी प्रोडक्ट हो आप यूएसपी स्टैंडर्ड्स में एनालिसिस करो होगी, बट क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स एक रखने का तो एक है ना, ये ट्रेड बैरियर बना के रखा है। ये दुनिया के डेवलप्ड देशों की ये डिमांड है कि लेट अस हैव ए कॉमन फार्माकोपिया, कॉमन स्टैंडर्ड्स। वो इसके लिए चाहते हैं कि इंडिया कैसे पीछे पड़े, इंडिया को ग्रो करना है। वी आर इन द प्रोसेस, अभी तो डेवलपिंग के इनिशियल स्टेज में आए हैं। पहले 15 स्टोरी का बिल्डिंग है, अपने पहले से दूसरे तल्ले पे आए हैं, सीधा जंप 15 तल्ले पे नहीं मारेंगे। आज अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या पूरी होती है, अपना ड्रग कंजम्पशन कैसा है वो देखिए। इम्प्योरिटी लेवल और ड्रग का आप कितनी टैबलेट्स लेते हो उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है। This is what I want to share about this one issue. The second issue, about the impurities that you raised. I hope you would be aware that Indian pharmacopoeia last आपने एक साल में देखा होगा ना, तो 400 से ऊपर रेफरेंस स्टैंडर्ड्स ऐड किए हैं। आज 900 से ऊपर रेफरेंस स्टैंडर्ड्स एंड इम्प्योरिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स अवेलेबल हैं। काम जोर शोर से चल रहा है। 2 इम्प्योरिटीज हैं, 3 नहीं है, तो 3 का क्या करना है? बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग और बड़ा सही क्वेश्चन है। उसका भी जवाब ये है कि फार्माकोपिया में ऐसी जो इम्प्योरिटीज अभी अवेलेबल नहीं है उसका रिलेटिव रिटेंशन टाइम दिया हुआ है। RRT is provided, these are the approximate RRTs, or if that is not available, you consider it as a part of other impurities, or other impurities का limit दिया है। We cannot go from first floor to 15th floor. Let there be a journey from realistic to idealistic approach. Let us not only talk of idealistic approach. Let us look at the positive aspects. कि इतने साल में जो नहीं हुआ और एक साल में आपको 400 impurities बढ़ गई, and I can assure you within a span of next 1.5 to 2 months, IPC is going to reach to 1,000 number of impurities, and that is also, we are planning to celebrate a journey from none to 1,000. That is a great achievement, to have 1,000 reference standards. So, let us look at the positive aspects, let us look at whatever best we can contribute, and let us be realistic. Thank you, Manoj Bhai.
Thank you. Any value addition from your side on this particular question?
Yeah, means,
Please.
yeah, I can add few more things as Dr. Gaurangji told, and that can be given a feedback to IPC also, that whenever there is a impurity standard given, the RRT as well as relative response factor has to be provided. And if it is possible, then the scope has been given that, okay, if this RRT, this is your impurity which is coming and this is your RRF, you can consider in absence of the impurity standard if IPC is unable to provide. And that can be feasible if the regulatory agrees with that. The second thing is also possible. Nowadays, detectors are capable to take a UV profile very properly. So there is a IR libraries available for drugs. Similarly, a UV library can be provided. So there are smart ways possible where in the HPLC UV detections, if you can put a slit width maybe 0.2 rather than a 1 nanometer. Generally we put 1 nanometer or a 2 nanometer or a 4 nanometer. But if you can put a split width, maybe a say 0.2 nanometer, In those conditions, it is possible to generate a UV spectra and you just overlay. And with that overlay, RRT and with the RRF factor, without the impurity, it can be given. Do you know the USP is reference standard business? It's a huge, huge. So USP has put everywhere situations that reference standard has to be there, reference standard has to be there. And I'm sure IPC may consider that very wisely, but IPC also should not start putting impurity standards every time, because if that will happen, definitely a business opportunity will open for impurity standard makers, but ultimately the cost may increase. But there may be a smarter way where a UV spectra reference, it can be provided, RRT can be provided, and RRF can be provided, and if the process is known, that these are the process, these are the only impurities can form, and with the trend data generations, it can be justified. So, but regulator has to agree. So somebody has to take a call from a regulatory perspective for this type of agreement.
मनोज भाई, एक इसके बारे में what डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया, अपना को एक केस डाइक्लोफेनेक पैरासीटामोल टैबलेट का एक, आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर अ केस. We are carrying out the analysis as per pharmacopoeia, diclofenac paracetamol. One brand of HPLC column, CAT column, paracetamol comes first. Same mobile phase, different brand of, it is a reverse thing. Now when you buy a column, you don't go inside and find out what is the silica there, right? So these are some of the real challenges that an analyst faces. And the challenge is that a person who certifies the quality, the challenges faced by him are still not really recognized by either regulators or the industry.
I can add one more thing. If somebody has filed in Russia, if you are filing in Russia, you need to give 3 to 4 brands of the column, a chromatogram in that column, and ensure equivalency has to be proved. Just type in a Google PQRI USP approach for a column comparison. There is a separate organization which is called a PQRI, which supports, it's a research institute which supports a USP. You can do a column comparisons. Every brand which is launched, there is analysis happens, and there is a PQRI database. That database will say that, okay, this is the similarity factor between these two columns. But those are the things, we are too far from those things. We are still at a baby steps, but they are the smarter ways which is feasible.
Please, can anyone provide a mic? No issue, no issue. Aram se.
The question is relevant to the SIR points, that is an acceptability. So I would like to quote on a question on the matter of the acceptability with regards to the ranitidine and with regards to the nasal spray. I don't want to explore the brand name of that product. So both cases has a similarity factors. The nasal spray which was launched for the methylcobalamin, sorry, it is a slip of tongue, sorry. Yeah. So methylcobalamin is a predictive response, right? So that it is been observed by the regulators, then regulators would have brought it into the public notice. That would have been acceptable to the public, because majority of the people and the patient pool in the India is suffering from anemia. So if regulators would have worked on that particular matters, that is in a predominant response that is predicted as soon as you spray the nozzle spray into the nozzle. So that is the one point that I would like to drag you. With example of the rifampicin, as everyone might have aware about the rifampicin out case. The rifampicin is a very popular molecule used for the treatment of tuberculosis. As soon as you take the rifampicin tablet, the patient who is taking the tablet, his eyelashes, his hair, face, even sweaty, urination, sweat, everything becomes a yellow, orange yellow in color. So that is the outcome of the rifampicin, but still it is acceptable. So if rifampicin is acceptable, then why don't methylcobalamin nasal spray is acceptable? That is a question to the regulatory from my perspective. Second one, coming to the NDMA issues. So NDMA issues, as far as long as I am concerned, it is on a marketed stunt or been dominated by the international marketers, which is imposed to the India because they knows the reality of the Indian people and the Indian pharmaceuticals, that if we want pause Indian pharmaceutical manufacturer on, at this particular matter, then it would have become something like dangerous for us. So that question comes to, again, regulator, that why Indian regulators haven't worked out and published the real data of the NDMA impurities, because as long as the Indian geography and food and habits is concerned, the NDMA, the source, the potential source of that nitrosamine impurities is a potable water and the food. That the quality of the food and water which is available in India is everyone aware about, right? Then there should not be a concern about the consuming medicine, which is having a controlled amount of nitrosamine impurities. So these two questions from my point.
Please, sir.
His questions, do you expect an answer from us, or you have raised your issues?
Actually, you have given your questions as well as answer also. That is my personal view.
Yes, but this is I just wanted to brought this issue
Okay.
so that it would help us, help to the regulators also, the producers also, and to the consumers. So regulators must work on that particular issue because the manufacturers are facing issues just because of the international regulations that you have imposed.
I really appreciate your comments.
Thank you. Be very focused with your questions. If anyone still having any suggestions or questions, please raise your hand from the audience. I have a small doubt, sir. Right now, we were more talking about the quality perspective. And as a manufacturer, say I'm a manufacturer and going for a FDA license or for any type of drugs which I want to introduce in, say, example, domestic market, and I want a permission. So what, is there any timeline given by FDA or any authority, within this month I will get a license? Then I just want to make a marketing plan to float my medicine in market. As a layman, I'm asking.
Yeah, see, many of our respected regulatory members are over here. Yes, Gujarat FDCA provides timeline and it is working as per the timelines for practically all cases.
But when we talk about the ease of doing business, what type of timeline, minimum time? Why I will tell about this. That is, say, example, 3 months.
It is published in the official website of FDCA. If any of our regulators, sir, would like to say something.
Please, you can just answer my doubts, basically. Pardon? Yeah. 60 days. And, okay, yeah, no problem. And then if I want to carry out the export activity as a manufacturing unit,
Okay.
and I want to export to USA, and they ask to get a US FDA license, then why it requires 2 years? Can you give me any explanation on this?
No, we don't have that idea.
I don't know, and this is my layman observation, basically.
Yes.
I'm not from the pharma industry, but it takes
Their
more than 1
registration
year. I mean to say
Yes.
1 to 1.5 years. What I get a feedback from the
They
units.
are having different type of law, and there you have to register your product, and they after approval they allow it. So their procedure is different from us.
But on one side, on Indian standards, we are getting approval at 60 days, and on the other, US developed
No,
country.
this is not for new drug. For new drug, you have to apply in CDSCO office
Okay.
at central government, and after getting permission from them, for general license you have we are having in our state 60 days policy.
Some of the exporters might be there when I am interacting with my export units in Zydus. So I was also surprised how they take another 2 years to get the USFDA.
सर इसको है ना थोड़ा समझना पड़ेगा. USFDA अप्रूवल है ना वो लेमैन की लैंग्वेज में समझा पाना थोड़ा मुश्किल है.
Anyway, but I thought this is I should take the opportunity and any more questions or any more suggestions from the audience, please raise your hand. Lunch कि इधर हम बढ़ रहे हैं धीरे धीरे, लेकिन उसके पहले ऐसी कहीं लगना नहीं चाहिए कि मुझे बोलने का मौका नहीं मिला. मैम, लेडीज एनी योर प्लीज एंड बट सेशन इतना लेंथी हो गया कि मुझे खुद को ही बोलने का मौका नहीं मिल रहा है. वो एक anyway, just my personally today I was slightly having a different assignments, so I was having a very doubt whether I will attend this session or not. But today I really thankful to attend this session, and I am really a beneficiary. I don't know, and that too without any paying participation fees. I got the good knowledge basically. I have a fascination towards the academic, with due respect to all the technical experts who are sitting in on the dais. And as I told you that as an administrator, when we talk on the various single window clearance and from the different regulatory front, not from only pharma. So we also see that the state level policies, central level policies, the where, and for the last, of course, continuously when we see the rank, when the rank for export preparedness, Gujarat #1. When we talk about ease of doing business, from 143 number, today I think we are in the 60s or 63. So that shows somehow somewhere we are not a fully developed nation, but definitely we are towards the 5 trillion economy. These are the additional things which are required. Like, of course, always I said that sir was very clear about the concept. Same thing I am looking after the SEZ policies. So SEZ, sir, simple question आता है, sir, मुझे क्या benefit मिलेगा? अरे कब तक benefit होना मुझे बताइए. Enough is enough, basically. Okay, there are finally WTO has fired India. What type of subsidies you are giving to your people instead of going for that? That's the reason sometimes we are introducing MES scheme, ACI scheme, today PLI also, but there is a limit basically. And I am on the view of as a technical person, as a textile engineer and work in the textiles. Yes, today fiscal benefits for startups, for incubators, fine. But for more important, we have to create an ecosystem. We are now trying to understand what is ecosystem when we talk about the sustainability. It's not only fiscal benefits. More important are the non-fiscal benefits. Today we are trying to cover all these three speaker topic, and then I want to summarize when Dr. Ravi already given the global perspective vis-a-vis Indian perspective, and one part, similarly we have covered the Rashmi ma'am about the role of MNCs and the comparison between MNCs and domestic, and finally the very interesting part of the quality, wherein always we are crying for all these fiscal benefits, ye tax ho raha, wo tax ho raha. Yes, definitely today also industry is very interested that the MAT will be reduced, corporate tax will be reduced to 15%. So of course, that's government is trying their level best, but government is also trying to push up on your own. When we now we are celebrating the 75 years of independence, and there are the core skills required, there are certain additional things required, and definitely I am also of the view of, so I will give my personal opinion, how many of you raise your hands when government, I am also part of the government, I am looking, there was a change in electronic policy. I will just give the example. MAT has published the draft policy. I circulated to each and every manufacturer. Please offer your comments. Not a single suggestions came from that draft policy. And once we implement that type of policy, then we start crying. Are sarkar ne ye karna chahiye. See, we are not experts. You people are the experts. You are the stakeholders. Try to understand your important role in framing the policy and going this towards the mission of India basically. Of course, when I was going through in morning, what are the different and from the holistic angle, basically, it's not like that Rome was never built in a day. So don't think that immediately we are comparing with China and same thing happened with SEZ also. Immediately somebody push up the model of SEZ from China and they say, no, okay, as far as Indian is concerned, my metabolism is different, my appetite is different, my quality standards are different, my living style is different, their pizza, my pizza, their diseases, our diseases. That's why today we are more bothered about the drugs and their standards as per my requirement. Ranitidine, let them consume. But I will consume definitely. Why I am agreeing with that? 25 ranitidines once in a year. That's enough for my metabolism, basically. So that's what the quality aspect. Of course, it should. I will geographically varies from community to community. That is why I am also of the view of Oza sir. And definitely when we talk about take the SWOT analysis from the management perspective about the pharma industry, we have a good strength, good weaknesses are also there, converting weakness into strength, opportunities are waiting for us. When we talk about 5 trillion economy, there is a base behind that. It's not like that. But then we have to see that at a macro level and macro level. And we are not aware about what are our own strength. When government is already well established Gujarat industry for this pharma, we should know rough diamonds, the diamond industry. Gujarat itself is a proven manufacturing activities hub. And lot of policies, state governments, they are initiating from time to time, whether it is the industrial policy, whether the sector-wise policy for textiles, for diamonds, for IT, recently they are introduced. So one has to make ourselves all this aware about the aware and awake, both the things basically. And of course, when we statistically, sir has already given the overall picture globally, and of course, always we look competitors as China, but forget what we are not here to compare with the China. And definitely, recently after this Corona, we are faced a lot of challenges, lot of opportunities in various segments. But when we see that the two major segments, what I feel is the dependency level to come down. We have to make ourselves in taking the holistic approach of going for a sustainable technology, basically. Then development of manpower, triple M, what we say, man, machine, material, basically. The raw material burden should come down. Of course, there was a long time, in 90s, there was some committee on API, but it was not that much. So what we are now trying to focus, of course, we are equally now growing, but we are having more dependency. As I was concerned in the export zone, so most of the people were importing API from China. So that is another my suggestion to the industry. We should go for our own API manufacturing. That is one of the focus area where we required. And coming to that, when we talk about the other and pharma itself is not only pharma. When we talk about the topic is also about the allied services. So there are the medical devices. I am very happy that some of the units, they are having their own medical devices units in electronic park. Somebody can come and see. They are exporting some chemical things, the optical lens. And then even I have a textile park under my jurisdiction, they are going for medical bandages, basically. So it's not like that pharma means only drug. Of course, that is the main core area, but we have to look forward for some of the biomedical sciences. You should be lucky, and I am proud to say that. Yesterday also I was talking to Principal Secretary of Maharashtra government about the development in sector-wise in Gujarat, and I am really proud that we are having today, every branch has been taken in a university shape, academic area. And then we have to go for a helix, triple helix model. Unless and until academia, government and educational people come together, it's industry, sorry. It's very difficult to go for a proper product, basically. The product means not only just to market, but this is the ecosystem what we're talking about to develop that. So Gujarat Biotechnological University, when we talk about the field of biotechnology, basically, that is one of the focus area today. So, and everything has been placed, and another thing, you are also blessed, equally myself, when government has taken the initiative of 75 state, 10%, to create, to boost the export, under this scheme Atmanirbhar Bharat, I am one of the member of this committee. So, Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, Kutch, one more Rajkot, they have been identified, 5 districts has been identified for export thrust areas, and Ahmedabad is identified for this, Pharma is identified for Ahmedabad. So government very soon will give some type of, as I support the cooperative movements, CLI. So this type of DGFT under the control of Collector Sir Ahmedabad, this committee will provide the common facility for R&D and other centers. One small suggestion from my side, and this is applicable for all industry, and when I talk about the when component of man, machine and material, we are going in a very positive as a population, young population, we are having that dividend, population dividend basically what we call as a demography dividend term technically. So I also expect this type of, apart from the technological advancement, and as Ravi sir has told that about the inclusiveness of all this IT, IoT and ITES services. Today, yes, big data, tomorrow artificial intelligence, day after tomorrow blockchain technology. Yes, this all things, the US developed countries, they are working on the basis of the data and they are going with, they are predicting. And today we are lagging that, we don't know what is tomato flu, tomorrow it will be banana flu. So daily we are having that type of fear factor as a layman. So we feel कि क्या होगा ये कभी monkey, कभी से, and I want to say this daily the viruses where we are attacking. So we require that type of data. Since Corona has given a lot of homework to do and how we can focus. And mostly India, when talk about India versus Bharat, the rural is one of the sector where we can focus this up to the last person in the case of pharma as well. Of course, coming to the medical devices or medical sciences, pharma and medical equipment, that is also one of the upcoming areas. On formulations part, there are the branded and generic. And of course, we are having our own strength in generic. Workforce, again, I was before skipping that. So please try to go for not only a technical skills, but go for a vocational skills today is required. And Ministry of Skill Development, central government as well as state government, they are taking a lot of initiatives. Please do go for skilling, reskilling and upskilling, which is equally required, like when we go for a painkiller, we require ranitidine also. So it's then only we can get ourselves fit. So because painkiller खाएंगे तो side effect होगा, acidity होगा. So similarly, thus overall make your employability will be generated and the competitiveness will be generated once you go for the step of vocational skill program. Again, Gujarat government is ahead of going for one of the best university upcoming, known as a Kaushalya University. Please try to get such type of, tell your HR people what are the needs required. Otherwise, very difficult only talking about the technical part. Fund nahi hai, there is no tax benefit, how we can survive. For survival, human asset is the biggest asset. And we are having the good dividend, demographic dividend. So such type of things, we can focus on formulations, what I feel from the inputs we got. And generic medicines, what I feel, we should focus on that. Technically, your masters, some of the segment I feel is what Ravi sir has given exactly. I support his research activity, contract research. I will add contract research and manufacturing services, CRAMS. So CRAMS is another one of the sector where we can focus and biosimilar and some formulations, as I told you, generic. So these are the three, four key segments where we can could take a lead and we can become masters in that particular products major. I will just, when we talk about Russia, Russia is also my second home, so I am having a lot of affinity for Russia. I will just give two examples. Of course, their standards, their period, even they have declared their vaccination in worldwide they're put in. But then I came across with number of scientists in Russia, and of course they are well much advanced in the medical equipment sides, and they are more scientists, lot of patent in lot of areas of pharmaceuticals and medical equipment. They told me, they have shown me the proven technology, and this is a technology we are having, and
Of course, there is commercial also very cheap technology. Today also it is aware. You take this and do a testing in a pathological lab. This is a machinery that will tell you whether you are having a cancer or not 6 months and 1 year before what we are attacking. That's what type of that of detecting this type of technologically they are. That was a discussion with them. Second discussion recently, the delegation was there from Russia. So they were telling why you are going for knee replacement, spending 2 lakhs rupees or 2.5 lakhs rupees. So they have given an injection. It hardly costs 20,000 rupees, which can give the guarantee for 5 years. Only 2 injections, basically something. So it was always pleasure to discuss the different topics. I don't have any commercial interest, but when we start to compare such type of things, why we can't go for a such type of cost-wise, the cost, we should become the cost leadership. I am a diabetic patient. I am using this Istemic Sun Pharma. I think Istemic 500. Earlier I was purchasing for 1,500 rupees. Suddenly government has given the cap. Now same medicine I am purchasing in 500 rupees. I was shocked to hear so much. I was then doubt about the quality, sir. I am regularly twice I can have that in my bag. So then see, the pricing is another one issue in the whole marketing strategy. So cost leadership is one of the side, acceptability, accessibility. Of course, after Corona, and that is a common thing. One another typical thing as a patient, layman patient, and then we are limited. The accessibility part is very important. If I am showing the doctor about the skin disease, about the things, they give some any type of lelopom or something like that, example, and then that drug I am not getting in Mumbai. Sir, आपको वाड़ज के नीचे ही मिलेगा वो फार्मा के पास. So that's the one of the common thing as a, I'm really amazed. And same thing Bombay also. If I get a drug from Bombay, that is not available in Ahmedabad. Reputed company, reputed thing. Thanks, at least I have that magazine, that book, Sims is there with me. Sims is there. So I refer Sims. Give me the alternative. So that's in nutshell. These are some of the, I also thought, let me give me my thoughts about the problems where we common people are facing. With due respect to your technical and relevant domain expertise, and I know I can see the faces, like I am also having equal chance of speaking on this occasion. And lunchtime, or I am also, as I told you, as a diabetic person, I am also feeling things. So 2 minutes I will take as a government from, I was also thinking exactly when we talk about, on the other side, we talk against government, but I am from the government. I am a pakka government thing. So yes, government has done a lot of things in this last, at least I am seeing the lively 8 years. And some of the things I just got, things like example, Pharma Vision 2020, they have come out, national pharmaceutical policies, support for technological upgradations and FDIs. So focus on FDIs. Of course, FDI is a very lucrative part, but they have created about 500 crore for infrastructure in this particular budget. And that is what pharmaceutical parks, as sir has already told, 3 pharmaceutical parks. And of course, Gujarat is the luckiest one basically. Textile park also Gujarat mein aane wala hai. So that's how the PLI scheme, what government has taken. Government is taking their own initiative and distributing towards for the welfare of the industry basically. Then Biotechnological Industry Research and Council, they have formulated recently biotechnological based program for women's. National Biopharma Mission, National Commission for Homeopathic. Of course, Ayush and other alternative medicines are also equally getting a good scope of in this thing. And I trust I have not given, because you are already expert, I am a student for you, but thanks for your patience listening and thanks for cooperating for this attending this session 1. I am really thankful for the organizer Saket and who has given me the opportunity to at least to come across with you people. I hope you enjoyed, and at least you can or any type of things I will ask I think organizer to share the contact number of the speakers and email, so that the things, the links should get continue basically. It is not like that कि 3 घंटे की movie देख ली और चल लिया भाई, ऐसी बात नहीं है. This is the, I am always saying कि this is a brainstorming process. Unless and until we wake up, nothing will come up basically. And same thing, I always take every month, sir, I take the meetings with all the respective heads of the department just to get the suggestions, because ministry, anytime they required any type of things, what industries feel. So unless until, it's like a relation, is like a doctor and patient. Unless and until patient tells the doctor, hi doctor, how will they diagnosis? So that's how from that platform, I'm telling, please make yourselves, and today with the help of online system, we can communicate to any authority and 100%, forget about RTI. In normal way also, most of the officers are now responding. And from SEZ perspective, 2 minutes I will take. And SEZ, around 12 units are there. Cadila is there, Intas is there, Zydus. 2 services are there, Fisher. So I've seen the growth. Today, it is one of the best SEZ in India in pharma sector. It got the IGBC award, Green Initiative, when we talk about the quality aspect. And please, I will share my number, or please, it is also available on website. If anything required help from the SEZ perspective of setting up the unit, or if you want to visit, of course, you know all these pharma giants are there. Most of the exporting to the North America and other segments, and most are in the formulations, couple of things. So that is one of the best SEZ in pharma, which has got number of awards as far as, it's not because of the Zydus, but it's really work as a pharma SEZs. So that is the growth I have seen from 1200 crores in the last 5 years. Today, this SEZ is contributing about 6,000 crores. So 6,000 crores generating the employment of about 6,000 plus direct employment and about 10,000 indirect employment. So that's how today Gujarat is blessed with this only SEZ of pharma. So that is what I want to share from the SEZ perspective. Another thing, SEZ is now getting converted. We get a good liberalized policy known as a DESH. Will be most probably implemented from 1st of October, with coming with a more liberalized working cultures, and hopefully that will helpful for setting up the units for the domestic perspective as well as from international perspective. But yes, challenges are there, and we are here. When there is a will, there is a way, we will overcome. Thanks again. Thanks a lot for the organizer. Thank you. Jai Hind.